It's Thursday, February 18. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Indian pharma company Bharat Biotech says it's open to supplying Jamaica with their COVID-19 COVAXIN vaccine once it gets approval from the World Health Organization. High Commissioner of India to Jamaica, Rangsung Masikwi, told members of the media during a virtual forum that India's Ministry of External Affairs is facilitating the bilateral process. Co-founder of Bharat Biotech, Suchitra Ella, says her team is still awaiting WHO approval, which they expect following the results for Phase 3 of the trials.
All the information relating to the clinical study was submitted to the Drug Controller General of India, who then, under the Special Experts Committee, the Subject Experts Committee, then sit and review that and give us the last permission in order to do the Phase 3 data, which has to be done at a large with a large number of population. In this case, we had opted and written in the protocols to have it studied in 26,000 subjects across 25 hospitals in India. The entire bandwidth of India was covered. So this is how Phase 3 data trial started. I think it was mid-November when we started it. And I'm very glad to inform all of you or bring it to your attention that just this last week, we have completed the second dosing of the trial subjects in this trials who were recruited in these trials to the entire 25,000 subjects that were admitted into the trial, and that was completed last week. And the follow-up visits and the follow-up data collection and all that is happening.
Despite the fact that Phase 3 is incomplete, the drug has been approved for emergency use in India, and Bharat Biotech is confident that COVAXIN will also get the WHO's approval soon.
So we are already a WHO pre-qualified supplier of vaccines under the UNICEF procurements, which is happening as we speak year after year. And I have no doubts, and I'm not at all, I'm very, you can be rest assured, I feel quite confident and hopeful that COVAXIN will also get the WHO's approval. Once this interim data can be the code has to be unlocked and broken after we reach a particular number of the infections that have to be looked at, because these are, again, as I said, protocols, which I can't just go and do it on my own inference or at my own discretion.
More than 20 countries have already registered for distribution. Everton Anderson, Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Fund, asked about the cost.
So when the government procurement happens, it happens at very large numbers in order to cater to the entire population of the country itself. So that then determines what the pricing would be for that particular volume or requirement that is put in front of us. But I can tell you one thing, being suppliers to UNICEF and to Gavi, if India cannot supply vaccines, no other country can do it cheaper than India.
Ms. Ella says the vaccine is only being administered to people over 18 years old for now.
Right now, the trials that we did in India is only from the age group of 18 years and above. I think the oldest that has participated in our trials is around 85 years old. I'm very happy to say this again. So this is how widespread the subject population has participated in the trials of COVAXIN. Under 18 and under 12 would call for pediatric study, would call for children's study to be done separately by the National Regulatory Authority. And we have already asked for permissions from our NRA to go ahead and take up a study of COVAXIN for under the age group of 12 in children.
As for its effectiveness against the UK, Brazil, and South African variants?
So far, 6 of our papers have been published, and this particular paper regarding the UK strain has been published at the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory and the BioRix preprint server for biology. The neutralization of the UK variant was done with the COVAXIN vaccinated human serum, and it has been proven that COVAXIN can neutralize the UK strain comfortably without causing infection to the populations at large.
Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has confirmed that the Jamaican government is in talks with India, but did not disclose whether any agreement had been made. We now get a daily COVID-19 summary.
In the clinical summary for Wednesday, February 17, 2021, 3 deaths were reported as well as 294 new COVID-19 cases. The island's death toll is now inching closer to the 400 mark and now stands at 384. Currently, Jamaica is contending with 6,939 active cases from an overall case count of 20,310. Across the island, Kingston and St. Andrew posted the highest case count with 117, followed by 92 in St. Catherine and 34 in St. James. Clarendon and St. Anne both posted 13 cases, while 8 were reported in Westmoreland. Manchester has 7 and Hanover 6. Over in the eastern end of the island, St. Mary has 2 cases, while St. Thomas and Portland had 1. In the meantime, 46 more recoveries were reported. That total has now ratcheted up to 12,781. 253 persons are now hospitalized, with 22 moderately ill and 21 critical. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
In a release on Wednesday, the National Security Ministry said a security vulnerability associated with the file storage service on the JAMCOVID-19 application was discovered on February 16, 2021. The vulnerability was immediately rectified upon discovery. The ministry said a thorough investigation was immediately initiated to determine if there were any breaches in travelers' data security, if the vulnerability had been exploited, and if there was a breach of any laws. At present, there is no evidence to suggest that the security vulnerability had been exploited for malicious data extraction prior to it being rectified. Nevertheless, out of an abundance of caution, the ministry says it has contacted travelers whose data may have been subject to the vulnerability and have assured them that steps have been taken to ensure the integrity and the confidentiality of the data. They will continue to carry out robust security testing and update our security protocols as necessary to mitigate against the risk of unauthorized access to data. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade is advising that as at February 16, 5 employees of the ministry has tested positive for COVID-19. According to a statement from the ministry, it has alerted all relevant governmental authorities and the appropriate contact tracing in each instance is on the way. The ministry also said that its offices have been subject to a deep sanitization exercise. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith has assured that the ministry recognizes the importance of continuing to offer critical services to the public, such as the authentication of documents and other consular services. The Criminal Records Office, CRO, located at 56 Duke Street, Kingston, is closed until further notice. The CRO says in a statement that the office is being deep cleaned because a member of staff has been exposed to COVID-19. The CRO is assuring the public that all is being done to rectify this situation assiduously. The nation's parliament resumes today with the orthodox ceremonial opening of Gordon House, topped by the annual throne speech from the Governor-General in the morning and the tabling of the annual estimates of expenditure by the government in the afternoon. The throne speech from Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen will summarize the 2021-2022 budget.
Although 2020 did not unfold in a way we would have anticipated at the beginning, it has taught us more than anything else, that life is precious, is fleeting, and must be treasured. For all those who have lost loved ones, we express our deepest condolences. Prior to the pandemic, we had forecasted 1.2% growth for the fiscal year 2020 and 2021. The past financial year has shown us the need for strength and resilience. We have ensured that we have used a risk-based management approach that is evidence-based, measured situationally appropriate, and proportionate.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of National Security, Matthew Samuda, says children deemed uncontrollable should not be housed in a juvenile correctional facility. Speaking at the last meeting of the Senate, Minister Samuda said the courts are granted this discretion option under the Child Care and Protection Act, but he wants this discretion removed.
The situation has arisen because of the discretionary power granted to the courts by the Child Care and Protection Act, Section 24, subsection 2b. This allows a judge to issue a correctional order to a juvenile deemed uncontrollable. Successive administrations have committed to correcting this wrong. Mr. President, this discretion must be removed. Quite frankly, we have spoken about it for too long, and it is indeed time to act.
Minister Samuda says 26 juveniles deemed uncontrollable are now in juvenile correctional facilities. He says he's working with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information on the way forward.
Arrangements and plans are being made to firstly have them separated from those juveniles who have been criminally charged or convicted, while consultations are had with the courts and the Ministry of Education in a bid to seek their permanent and appropriate relocation. Mr. President, colleague senators, a correctional facility is simply not set up to deal with the nuanced issues facing juveniles deemed uncontrollable.
His statement to the Senate follows a special investigation conducted by the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM. The report notes complaints of victimization of wards at juvenile correctional facilities, specifically the Rio Cobre Juvenile Correctional Center. Minister Samuda says the complaints are being investigated. He notes that Jamaica's correctional officers are not trained to manage uncontrollable children, but rather those convicted for criminal activities.
We have wards who have been remanded and convicted of crimes including murder, shooting with intent, illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, rape, burglary, robbery, housebreaking, and destruction of property, amongst other crimes. It's not the space for children who have not committed crimes to be interacting.
According to Minister Samuda, the use of the jail block at juvenile correctional facilities must be reviewed.
I've already issued written instructions to the Commissioner of Corrections, Lieutenant Colonel Guerrero, which include the following. The jail block is not to be used without written instructions from the superintendent. The intention for this area is not that it be used as punishment, but rather as an area of separation when the assessment of the superintendent is that either the ward is in danger or endangering the well-being of others. Under no circumstance should the ward or wards be stripped. If there are concerns about the ward being a danger to himself, the appropriate consultation with the medical officer must be had, and they must be placed in the suicide watch rooms designated for such, while they receive care as opposed to being held in the jail block.
The State Minister says a working group has been established to review the state of national youth facilities over the next 3 months.
This group will be given 100% support from DCS and total access to our facilities to ensure that the plan, when completed, is indeed a roadmap to ensure discipline, education, and the care, physical and psychological, for our wards is appropriate and achieves the goal of rehabilitation.
Businessman and Justice of the Peace, Hugh is the new Custos for the parish of Trelawny. He was sworn in this week by the Governor-General, His Excellency the Most Honourable Sir Patrick Allen, at King's House. Mr. Gentle's appointment follows the resignation of Paul Muschett. He served the parish for 11 years. Wake the town and tell the people. Those were the signature words immortalized by Uroy Beckford, whose stage name was Uroy. The renowned artist died on Wednesday in hospital after ailing for some time. Referred to as the Godfather of Dancehall, took toasting to international heights and laid foundation for what we know today as selectors. Carl Francis tells us more of his extraordinary life and contributions to Jamaica's music and culture.
It's an all too familiar story. Boy born in poor, humble circumstances and rises to greatness. Born September 1942 in Jonestown, Kingston, Ewart Beckford attended the Denhamtown Primary School. He got the name Uroy from his younger relative who found it difficult to pronounce his birth name Ewart. However, school was not where he got his real education. A lover of music, he began spending a lot of time at 21 Penn Street in Jonestown playing sound system from the age of 14. Though his first love was music, he took a job on a construction site to earn additional income. Through it all, he continued to hone his craft. Naturally talented, he freestyled his lyrics. He combined this with his unique vocal delivery to pioneer what was become known as toasting. This is where a disc jockey would actually talk over songs being played on a sound system. One of his first singles that made Jamaicans sit up and take note of his rhyming and timing was Wake the Town. It would become his signature hit.
Wake the town and tell the people about the musical disc coming your way.
Wear You to the Ball, recorded with John Holt in 1970, made him a household name in Jamaica and the world.
Though them other guys may put you down, you wear my crown. Wow! Chickaball, 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 wow, wow. Dip me so, father, dip me so, sister.
His album, Version Galore, changed his life. He has several #1 hits and toured extensively across the world.
Some says I like to dread like something. Some says I like to dread like something. And some say come make it ragged around town. And I'm gonna step it downtown. And some say no get it ragged downtown.
It was on tour that Uroy began to appreciate the true scope of his music's impact.
I didn't even believe and know that there was so much respect out there for me. So I give thanks for all you people who pick me up every time. Yeah? Enough love. It's a blessing from the Most High God. King Selassie. Really love. Tell me on.
Credited as pioneering dancehall DJ culture, Uroy was officially crowned as the dancehall king of all DJs in 2019. This became the capstone in a career that has since become legend, a legend that has cemented his place in the annals of Jamaica's rich musical history.
Wake the town and tell the people about the musical disc coming your way.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Carol Francis.
Motorists will have to dip a little deeper in their pockets this week for gas and diesel. We get these and all the financial news in this business report from Gabriel Thompson.
According to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam, motorists should see an increase at the pumps in the prices of gasoline and diesel effective Thursday, February 18. Following an increase of $2.87, 87 and 90 octane gasoline will be sold for $125.62 and $128.45 per liter respectively. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $122.83 per liter, following an increase of $1.24, while ultra-low sulfur diesel is up by $3.02 and will be sold for $129.44 per liter. Kerosene increased in price by $3.06 and will be sold for $99.87 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum will be sold for $55.91 per liter, up by $2.21, and butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $52.93 per liter, following a decrease of 25 cents. Expect price changes as marketing companies and retailers will add their respective markup to these prices. In Wednesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index advanced by 433 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 91 stocks, of which 45 advanced, 32 declined, and 14 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 94 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica, 1834 Investments Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Trading firm were Caribbean Cream Limited, Express Catering Limited, and I Create Limited ordinary shares. Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with 1.8 million units, followed by Jamaican Teas Limited with 1.3 million units and Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with 1.4 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Wednesday, February 17, ended trading at $151.41. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $120.60. The pound sterling traded for $209.90, and the euro ended trading at $186.50. Oil prices erased early gains after Brent hit a new 13-month high above $65 a barrel on Thursday, as concerns that a rare cold snap in Texas could disrupt U.S. crude output for days or even weeks prompted fresh buying. Texas's freeze entered a sixth day on Thursday as the largest energy-producing state in the United States grappled with massive refining outages and oil and gas shut-ins that rippled beyond its borders into neighboring Mexico. Brent crude futures fell 3 cents to $64.31 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures slid 4 cents to $61.10 a barrel. And that does it for the Thursday edition of the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
The national humanization campaign in Barbados against COVID-19 is gaining traction. We have the details in this report from Barbados today.
That was the latest update from Minister of Health and Wellness, Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic. The vaccine arrived on the island just a week ago, and Minister Bostic said while there was skepticism among some people about taking the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, the number of people being vaccinated daily is continuing to rise. Speaking during Wednesday's press conference, Bostic also reminded people that they should only visit vaccination centers if they register and have received a telephone call to do so.
Pursuing a national vaccination program to prioritize and protect our frontline workers, persons with NCDs, and seniors. And I'm pleased to report that having started to test our systems last Wednesday with the vaccination of 30 people and increasing our numbers daily as at yesterday evening, February 16th, Barbados had vaccinated 6,665 persons. That is nearly 1,000 people a day. Yesterday's daily dashboard showed the vaccination numbers for the first time and will hereafter reflect the daily vaccination numbers. And I want to say a word to those persons who are going to polyclinics and testing centers for vaccines. I've instructed the polyclinics and the testing centers that immediately the only persons who should be coming to those installations for vaccines are persons who are 70 and over, persons who are below 70 and who have and over 16 and who have chronic NCDs, and those persons will receive a telephone call after registering from the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Vaccine Committee, and those persons will be told exactly where and when to go to receive their vaccines.
Minister Bostic also said that school and private medical institutions are being considered as centers in the vaccination rollout in order to release some of the pressure on the island's polyclinics.
I can say yes, that there are some schools and other facilities that are on the cards, and The team, the vaccination coordinating team, Major Clark, Dr. Ferdinand, they are in the process and they're doing it on a daily basis of putting things in place so that those facilities can be up and running. I can say yes, we have coordinated, we've asked, we've requested assistance from BAM, private doctors, from the BNA. We've had some assistance, but we need more. And I would ask those entities to kindly speak to their membership so that we can have more personnel available to open those facilities, to take some of the strain off of the polyclinics. Not all of the polyclinics will be involved in the exercise going forward because we still have to maintain other public health areas.
Barbadians over 70 years old and those 18 to 69 with chronic non-communicable diseases and other underlying health conditions went to polyclinics across the island yesterday to get the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. Long lines were observed at polyclinics, some of which remained closed to facilitate the vaccination of hundreds of people who went to the various locations by appointment. Here's what some of those waiting to get vaccinated told Barbados Today.
I did my research and, I looked at the Moderna and the Pfizer, which is based on the mRNA, which is a newer technology, a newer vaccine, type of vaccine. The Oxford AstraZeneca is based on an older vaccination type, which is the same type as, when you had measles and stuff. So to me, that the efficacy is not as high as the others, but they have more of a track record with the vaccine and that type of vaccine. So, I'm here to take it, and I hope other people take it because we're in a pandemic and we want the world to open back up.
I take keep my health, make sure that it's okay and everything. I'm 73 years old, and I'm taking the chances, right? So I want to take it.
In sports, there have been some delays, but professional football Jamaica, PFJL, remains upbeat about the Premier League getting going soon. The delays have been centered around a spike on COVID-19 cases on the island. PFJL Director and the Chairman of Marketing and Commercialization Committee, Donovan White, is expressing confidence. Speaking at a recent media interview, he says the PFJL has been sticking to the protocols as dictated by the health authorities regarding the return to sports. Mr. White says that football will resume and players who have suffered more than just financially from a near one-year lockdown will soon begin to recover. To date, PFJL has secured several high-profile sponsors for the upcoming season. They are now waiting for a response from the decision-makers to know if there will be a shortened 2020-2021 season. And that's our package. As always, thanks for watching and thanks for making it PBCJ, the People's Station.